Hi folks, this is Carrots Crafts, and in today's video we're going to be doing something a little different, and I'll be making a diorama of a crypt. I'll be doing this for my Soulblight Gravelords, but it could just as easily be used as a centrepiece for your tabletop games. We're going to start off with a bit of card and 2 thin pieces of XPS foam to make the base. Using far too much no more nails, we're going to secure it together, and then we're going to add an additional piece of thicker blue foam to create a raised platform within the crypt, making sure to leave a gap around the outside edge so we can attach our walls later on. Next, using a mechanical pencil with no lead, I'm going to gently score the foam to give the impression of flagstones. And then we'll make the stairs leading up to the platform with 2 thin bits of foam. We'll then add an extra piece of foam to the edge of the platform just to give it a more uniform look. Next, we're going to plan out the walls. I'm going to remove these corners as I feel that it will give it a little bit more depth looking into the diorama once it's finished. And then, using the same method as we did for the floor, we're going to mark out the brickwork on the walls. To prevent it from looking too flat, we're going to add a bit of dimension by adding some columns and pillars to the walls. And we'll make these slightly different from each other just so that they have a bit of interest. Along with a couple of arches. I'm going to remove a section for the top stair, and then we're going to add some weathering and damage to the what would be ancient stonework. Just to give it that rundown and old look. And we'll continue this onto the walls and pillars as well. For the last bit of texturing, we're going to just take a stone and just press it into the foam to give a light impression and make it a bit more, well, stone-like. And for that final touch, we'll just add some small bits of foam as rocks to give the floor just that little extra bit of texture. Next, we'll give it our usual double coat of paint and Mod Podge mix as a base coat, and then we're going to prime it with 2 different shades of grey, one darker and then a lighter one over the top to give it a bit of tone. A little advice: if your can of spray paint starts hissing at you like an angry cat, put it down and step away because it's about to go pop. Then we'll finish off with 2 heavy coats of a black wash just to seep into all those cracks and recesses. For the centrepiece, I decided to give air drying clay a try to make the tomb that's going to sit in the middle. This was my first time ever using it, and I hated every second of it. It was very sticky and difficult to work with, and it took a ridiculous amount of time to dry before I eventually got bored of waiting and stuck it in the air fryer, which just resulted in it cracking. So to save myself any more time and effort, I just 3D printed a new one, which I gave a couple of coats of progressively lighter grey to, just so that it would match in with the diorama. Now, once everything's been assembled and stuck together with wood glue, we're going to do that final bit of weathering and give it that dank, old look with 2 different washes. The first one we're going to be using is an Agrax Earthshade, or you can just use any dark brown wash for this. And the second, be using a Thonian Camel Shade, just to add a little bit of green into the brown and black. And then I'll add a tiny little bit of watered down red, just to add a little bit of a pop and a wee extra piece of colour. For a little more detail, I'm going to add some skulls to the arches and scattered around the floor. I got these from the Citadel skulls kit, and using green stuff I made a couple of little bones, just to add in a little bit extra. And with that final part done, we're going to dim the lights and add some models. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see some more content, please leave a like and subscribe. The support would be greatly appreciated. And thanks for watching.